Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these proper sit down videos, and the last three or so were all vloggy ones, and I hope you've enjoyed those types of videos. And I will look to vlog if I'm doing something exciting or something like that, just because I can. So I've been doing my exams and my exams are now finished. I've also started work, which is really exciting. So I'm probably going to be doing more of my normal videos like this now that I don't have any more exams. So I thought I would do today's video about what to do the summer before you apply to med school. And this could be for even if you're really, want to get ahead. This could be for people that are finishing their GCSEs, going into their AS levels, but mainly for those that are just finished their AS, going into A2, and they're going to apply in October. They're going to send off their applications in October. So yeah, it's mainly for you guys. And obviously, if you're not from the UK, then whenever it is that you're applying, it's basically for everyone. Everyone and anyone. So yeah, because anyone might find it useful. So my first thing would be to arrange your volunteering or work experience. So volunteering, you want to find somewhere like a day center for adults with learning disabilities, a nursing home, a residential home, or even like a nursery, or anywhere like where you might be helping people in a caring situation. So yep, that would be really useful. And just there's loads, and they're always looking for a helping hand, whether it be someone who's making tea or just answering the call bell, any basic little thing. They're always looking for a helping hand. And once you're in the environment, you can really be in there. You can speak to the patients or the people, the service users that are there. You can, hear all about their lives. You can then write about this kind of thing in your personal statement. That's literally, you get that kind of experience, and you work on your communication skills, your social skills, all these different skills that are just super useful in life in general, but particularly when you're applying to medicine and when you're a doctor in the future. So yeah, that would be my first thing, is get your volunteering work sorted. And you want to be able to continue it for a prolonged period. You don't want to just go for a month and then that's it, stop going. So maybe you can arrange something like 2 hours a week, once a week for the entire summer, and if you can continue it throughout term time as well, just to show that consistency, that you're not just doing stuff for the purpose of your application, but because you truly want to do it. And that's what I would say, is find something that you truly enjoy, so that it is not just a chore. It's not just ticking a tick box, it's something that you really do want to do and you will enjoy doing. And so my next thing would be work experience, and this takes a lot of organizing because it's not that easy to get nowadays. This is, in a hospital, like shadowing a doctor, or at a GP practice or something like that. So I would say find your local GPs, find your local hospital, and just drop them an email or write them a formal letter saying who you are, why you want to do the work experience, what you think you gain from it, and what you think you have to offer them. For example, just add a little something in there about that. And so that you can start to get that arranged and do maybe 1 week or 2 weeks shadowing, where you follow a doctor or follow a GP or that type of thing. Or, if you're at a practice, you go and sit in with the practice nurse, sit in with the GP, sit in with the phlebotomist, and you get a well-rounded idea of what goes on in a GP practice. So yeah, that is another thing, is the work experience. Next is, if you are going to work, then start to make those arrangements. And it's amazing if you can work, volunteer, and have work experience. That shows great time management, and you're going to need good time management when you start med school, because there's so much going on that you really need to be able to balance your time and still have things that you enjoy, still have your hobbies that you like to do. So I would say definitely that. If you're gonna work, this could be at a restaurant or anything, any kind of part-time job. Just as you do it, think about what kind of skills you're picking up. Are you working in a team? Are you working with, is it customer facing, so public facing? So are you talking to different types of people And just think about all these things and maybe keep a little diary of all the things that you've learned or that you learn on your volunteering work, on your work experience, and at work. So you can have some situations, for example, if you had a difficult customer, you can, just go home and just jot down some things about, okay, we had a difficult customer, this is how I handled it, this is what we did, and this is what it taught me. Because in future, maybe if you come to an interview, they might ask you, okay, what kind of situation have you ever been where you've had to resolve conflict? And that could be a good example of that kind of situation. So yeah, definitely keep a diary. So my second thing, aside from the work experience and volunteering, to try and do the summer before you apply is get ahead on your UKCAT. You can never start too early. It's never too soon to start practicing that test. Or like the UKCAT and the GAMSAT and the BMAT. GAMSAT is for graduates and BMAT is for a certain number of universities. They take BMAT. So I would say start looking at those, and even if you want to start looking at them earlier than the summer before, like just to give yourself a gist, an idea, and then start timing yourself. The sooner you start doing it under timed conditions, the better. Because if you think about it on the day, the pressure of just having that as your one chance to do really well, and literally the weight of the world is on that one day, one time. So if you can do it well under timed conditions at home, then you're more likely to do well under timed conditions with the pressure of the real thing. So I would say start practicing under timed conditions as soon as you can, because that's really, really important, because the time comes around so quick, and before you know it, like, oh no, new section, what do you mean, that type of thing. And I would also say keep your options open. So take a look at the BMAT, take a look at the UKCAT. Don't just be like, okay, I'm not doing BMAT, I'm just doing UKCAT. Take a look at both and see, because you might actually find that once you start going through it, the BMAT favors your strengths maybe more than the UKCAT. And if you feel like, okay, they balance, I feel like I can do both well, they might complement each other's in some way, then do both. Carry on, do both if you can, and just keep your options open. My next thing I would say is start looking at the university, start looking at not just the entry requirements, because they're pretty similar across the board, but start looking at the selection criteria. So how do they choose people for interview, and how do they choose people for places? Start with how do they choose people for interview. If some are like, okay, we only choose on UKCAT ranking, we rank everyone for their UKCAT and we offer the top whatever interviews. If that's the case, then if you're strong with your UKCAT, you're going to apply to that one. And others might be like, okay, we do 50-50, 50% personal statement, 50% UKCAT. If you feel like your application and your personal statement is really strong, then you might be inclined to apply to that one. So I would say really have a look through their selection criteria, like really sift through it to maximize your chances of applying to a university that you will be offered an interview. There's absolutely no point in wasting, you only have 4 places you can apply to, don't waste one. Apply to the ones that you're maximizing your chances of getting an interview, because at the end of the day, you're going to be a doctor. Like, anywhere you go to uni in the UK, you are going to be a doctor, and we're all going to be ranked on that same list in 5th year, and we're all going to be allocated jobs in that same way. So it really, 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 really doesn't matter. I think it's better to get in than to be super than play to your strengths, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So work on that, and there's loads of med schools to go through, so start doing that early, and then obviously make your short list, and then your short list, and then your final choices as well. My next thing is start reading. You can flick through a medical journal if you want to, but I don't think it's really that. I think watching the news is probably more informative. Stuff like the junior doctor's contracts is really topical right now, so make sure you're conversant in that, you know a bit about what's going on, where has it been rejected, or what's the differences between this contract and the old contract, those types of things. but also like books. So for example, Atul Gawande Being Mortal, I read that one. I really enjoyed it actually. It was a good read. And Atul Gawande has another book, and I listen to BBC Radio 4. I know I'm such an old lady, but he was, I don't know what they call it, a scholar or something like that. But if you go on BBC Radio 4 or iPlayer Radio 4, just type in Atul Gawande, there's a lecture series that he delivered. I think it's like 3 or 4 lectures, and just have a listen to those. They're really interesting. And he also has another book, and there's also this really interesting book that's been going around. It's called When Breath Becomes Air. That might be a good one to read as well. But just have a look at a couple, have a read of a couple of these medical but easy to read books. So it's not a medical textbook, it's a medical related book, but it flows like Being Mortal flowed really well. You could literally read it like any other book you were reading. So I would definitely recommend reading 2 or 3 of those in the summer. So you might want to write about them in your personal statement, or you might want to bring them up at interview, or someone might bring something up and you'll be like, oh yeah, well, I read a book called such and such about such and such, and I found it really interesting because it taught me such and such. Those kinds of things. And I think that's pretty much it, I would say. Don't forget to keep up with your hobbies and keep up with the things that you enjoy, because on top of all these things that I'm saying, yeah, you need to do this, you also need to be fairly well-rounded. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.